We're all here today.
I did like that someone addressed us as all three of our names.
Because they never know who they're talking to.
Oh my god.
Did you
Don't
just spill it?
think that's how it's supposed to go.
Just going so sweet. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool.
I mean, we can try the starting fluid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do into both. Don't push anything while I'm spraying.
Great.
Okay, do that.
I guess we can try spraying it again.
You've only got one again.
This side's not bad.
As you can tell, still not properly starting after trying some of the starting fluid. I did want to say that, yes, we might be doing too much for a no start, but this is a bike that I want to keep for a little bit and learn on, and I'm going to make sure things running properly and that it's not going to like be unreliable on the road. So we put in new spark plugs in, made sure they had sparks. We rebuilt both carbs. We put in new fuel, a new battery. We changed the oil and tried the starter fluid method. And we're going to put in a new petcock and fuel line. So if any of that doesn't work, let us know what you think that we need to do to get this going.
And I also want to say that we're not only using this for videos and stuff, and Jake wants to keep it, but we're also learning how to work on a motorcycle because neither of us have really done this before. So we're using this old bike that doesn't run to work on stuff because we can't really make it worse. We can't make it run less.
Please leave a comment with any suggestions. We've tried pretty much everything we've seen, at least on comments, so. Also the left side isn't firing properly. We are getting a spark like you saw, but we think maybe there could be some sort of fuel issue. So
even with the starter fluid, when it did start, the right side would run for a few seconds and then the left side would.
Yeah, but we couldn't get it running more than just a few seconds.
But yeah, let us know if you have any ideas.
So I'm taking the MSF course in less than 2 weeks. And I have ridden Tyler's bike a few times, but I think I'm gonna ride this one today too. Just a little more practice before the class.
And I know a lot of people, I know I did, before you take the class, you're a little bit nervous, especially if you're like brand new to motorcycles. And there's like a lot of things you are just curious about, a lot of questions you may have. So I'm just gonna answer Jake's questions before he takes these both for a test ride.
I'm not necessarily nervous about the class. It's more so just not exactly sure what to expect in terms of the test at the end.
So basically you play with the clutch like I had you do, where you just find that friction zone.
Yeah.
And you just go back and forth on the parking lot.
And you're just in neutral.
No, you're in first.
You're in first, that's right.
And then they just have you add a little bit of throttle here and there.
And you said like, since you're in a parking lot, you pretty much only get up to 25 miles per hour.
Yeah, there's a couple where they'll have you go up into second, but then basically as soon as you get the second, you stop.
Okay.
One of them is they have you get up into second, get to like 20, 25, and then like slam on the brakes.
Okay.
And that's
slam on them?
They want you to stop as quick as you can.
Okay. So like my question, I guess, would be, what are the ways that you can fail?
I would say try not to drop the bike during the practical.
Wouldn't want to.
The hardest one is the U-turn. The
I watched a few videos on that. It's interesting.
The figure eight in the box is really difficult.
But you have to get it.
There was a lady in my class that put her foot down a couple times during it, and she passed. I would say try not to do that.
Gotcha.
Try to stay in the box more. So like, if you need to put your foot down, make sure you're in the box.
Okay. You did the schoolwork ahead of time, didn't you?
Yeah, they sent out a link to
So they sent it out. Did you do the one on Triumph's website or
Yep.
the other one?
Triumph. They didn't give us an option. It was just Triumph.
Oh, they give me 2 options.
It takes a long time, but it gets you out of the class early
Yeah.
because you don't have to take it at the class.
Well, I'm wondering because like the class is Thursday, Friday from 8 to 5, and I'm wondering if I do all that work ahead of time. Is that the first thing we do? Like, am I
No.
just gonna be sitting and doing nothing for a
No.
while, or?
They save that for the very end.
Oh, okay.
So that way the people who didn't do it have to stay later.
Gotcha. Well, that's nice because I haven't decided yet fully what I'm gonna do with my bike in terms of like if we can't get it running anytime soon, I want to ride. So I'm like, I'm tempted to buy something so I can start riding, but I just like,
Sorry.
I'm just monies. It's always money.
Well, and you're getting married soon too.
Yeah, I'm getting married. As a new rider too, do you feel like the MSF course prepared you more than if you wouldn't have had to take the class?
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't really prepare you for riding on the road, but it prepares you for using the controls and knowing what the bike feels like, understanding turning and stopping and all of that stuff that you probably wouldn't get the same experience if you just tried to learn on your own, unless you really went out into a parking lot and like practiced and practiced and practiced.
Is there anything that you feel like you wish you would have learned that you didn't?
Nothing that I'm aware of.
Maybe
one
besides
thing
just
that-
being confined to a parking lot?
Yeah. In the MSF, you don't really do anything quickly. The bike I was on was very light, and I felt like if I started to tip on that, I was fine. I really need to practice some of the like tight turning on this.
Sure.
It has a lot more weight. So there's things that like I keep saying like I need to practice with this because I was totally comfortable on that light.
What
MSF
bike were you on? Do you remember?
Suzuki, it's like a 250.
Is there anything in particular that like you're really glad you learned in that class that you maybe didn't expect to learn, or like anything that surprised you with the class?
I think the practice doing tighter turns was, I'm still terrified of tight turns, but I think practicing doing it was necessary.
Sure.
I don't think I would be anywhere near as comfortable on the road if I hadn't been forced to just try it.
And that's one thing that I'm maybe like the most anxious about is finally getting onto the road, because the most road that I have driven on is literally from my block to 1 block down where a giant parking lot by my house is. So like, I don't know, 100 feet. So it's like, I've not really ridden on a real road yet either. So I'm
It took me a
little
long
anxious about
time
that.
after I got this to be comfortable out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
We rode to the parking lot so that I could ride around the parking lot a lot.
That's one thing of when I buy a bike, I feel like I'm gonna have to get like really comfortable riding before I go purchase a bike and ride it home.
I will say the MSF thing like doesn't teach you more advanced things like downshifting, to slow down, to use engine braking, and they definitely don't take you on the road. I would say if they're gonna add anything to the MSF, taking you out on a road area, even if it's just that road that runs in front of the one where we took it in Kentucky, there's like a business park road, so it's not super busy. I think just taking the class out onto that would be nice, but maybe there's like some liability issues with that. I don't know.
Probably.
And so I'm guessing that we'll probably do a video of me maybe talking about my experience after the fact too. So I might have some additional input for anyone out there who's thinking about signing up, or maybe is already signed up and has to wait a couple months. The one by us fills up so quick, so I'm glad I got in a month early, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I'm not actually really worried about the test or the class in general. I'm more worried about the writing stuff and the like classwork stuff and understanding everything.
The written stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how long it is, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
The one online took us a couple hours.
Is it like with that? Is there like a bunch of reading and then you do a test?
Sort of. There's like
or-
videos and some reading, and then you do a couple questions. Then
Gotcha.
You do more videos and more reading and a couple questions.
That makes sense.
But you want to get riding?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, let's do the Himalayan. Yeah, so check out next video where Jake rides the Himalayan in the Classic 350. I think it's interesting to get a new rider's perspective on the differences between those two different bikes. They're very different. So stay tuned for that. Becky and I also kind of give our thoughts on the differences between the two bikes. As far as the MSF course, Jake is very excited for that. If any of you guys are new and you have any questions about the MSF for two people who have already taken it, Becky and I, please leave them in the comments and we will try our best to answer those for you. Next week will probably be Jake's thoughts on these two bikes, and then the week after that will be Jake's thoughts on the MSF, I think. And if you have any suggestions for Jake on how to get better at riding, oh, look at him giving the peace sign to that rider that showed up in the parking lot. Wrong. You got to teach him the right bike wave. He'll get it. All right, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments, obviously. I'll see you next time. Have a good week, guys. Bye.